What's up? What's up? Make sure hitting that like button when you come up in here, though. What's the deal? Make sure hitting that like button when you come up in here. Make sure hitting that like button. Let some of y'all get up in here real quick, but make sure hitting that like button when you come up in here now. Make sure hitting that like button. Don't do that to me. Make sure hitting the like button. What's good with you? What's good with you? Already. 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 What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's good? What's good? What's good with you? What's good with you? Make sure hitting that like button when y'all come up in here now. Make sure hitting that like button now. Already. Let some more of y'all come up in here real quick before we get started. You know what it is. Already. What's the deal? What's the deal? Already, what's good with you? Already. Make sure you hitting that like button now. Make sure you hitting that like button. Make sure you hitting that like button. Already. Already. What's up, y'all? So, as we all know, we are about to enter week 2 of the NFL. Houston Texans, they will host their first home game of the season, home opener, Monday night versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we already know that, hey, it's already about that time. It's already about that time. It's already about that time because of you not taking care of business Sunday against the Rams. Now we're in a situation where you need to come out with this win on Monday. You need to come out with this win on Monday because a lot of Texan fans have already started doing this, but I know for a fact on Tuesday morning, if the Texans don't come away with a victory, they're gonna be sideline them Houston Texans. They're gonna be looking at the Texans with the side eye. They're gonna be looking at D'Amico Ryans with the side eye. They're gonna be looking at Nick Caley with the side eye. They're gonna be looking at CJ with the side eye. So not only do the Texans need to win, the Texans need to have an actual legitimate performance. They need to put their best foot forward. They actually need to actually play well, specifically the offense. Because the defense actually did their job on Sunday. Like, even though there were some glimpses, even though they gave up plays, even though that they allowed Puka Nacua to get over 100 some yards, even though they did that, at the end of the day, they only held them to 14 points. And then they got a turnover with 4 minutes left to go in the game, down by a possession, down by less than a touchdown, down by 5. They got the ball back to the offense and had gave the offense a chance to win the game. Not tie the game. God had to give the offense a chance to win the game. The offense didn't close it out because the offense ended up turning over the ball themselves. And that's a conversation for another day that we definitely will get into it. Because not for another day. That's a conversation for later on in the video because we're definitely going to talk about what they should do and what they shouldn't have done on Sunday. But the Texans definitely have a chance and definitely have opportunity last week to go ahead with the victory. They had a chance, and the defense did their job. The defense did enough to win the game. Again, you cannot ask pretty much any more of a defense to hold the team to 2 touchdowns. So it is what it is. But this is a test right here because we know what happened the last time these two teams played. Not only the last time these two teams played, it was the last time this team was inside NRG. And that's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Probably gave the best performance and one of the best performances, one of the performances that got everybody looking across the league, looking at CJ like, hey, he's a potential top 5 quarterback. It was a high flying, high scoring game. The Texans came out with a 39-37 victory. And let's talk about that game real quick. I mean, CJ was 30 of 42 for 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, no turnovers. Baker Mayfield was 21 of 30 for 265 yards, but only had 2 touchdowns. Now, again, they were able to score a lot of points, 37 points, but the Texans were able to top and get the 39 points, able to get the victory. And this team, I think, offensively is better than that team was. I think this team offensively is better. And I do think that this team offensively actually has some things that they can actually do to this defense. Again, I think this defense can definitely hold their own. Again, we seen what they did last week against the Los Angeles Rams. But I said this when the schedule came out that we're gonna find out very early about this Texan team. We're going to find out in the first 2 weeks is going to tell us all we need to know about this team and all we need to know about this season, because that front against the Rams, we're going to know early on if this offensive line really is better than the previous offensive lines. Is it really better than last year's offensive line? Is it just getting rid of Larry Tunsil? Is it the change of the coach? Could they really do the job? And as we seen the first week, the offensive line did some good things because they were able to run the football better than they were able to run last year. Even though Nick Chubb didn't get as many yards as Joe Mixon got in his home opener last year, or his opener last year, because he got over 100 some yards and won AFC Player of the Week, week 1 last year. But I say this. Well, I was impressed and liked what we seen the running game and the running attack. It looked better. Offensively, CJ was pressured. CJ got sacked. Some of that was on CJ. CJ even admitted to it, and so did D'Amico, and also Nick Casario also alluded to, hey, some of that was CJ fault and not really the offensive line. We're gonna talk about that later. But I said that we were gonna find out early on, and also we are gonna find out early on about this defense. I've been telling you that I feel like this is the best secondary in the NFL, because I feel like Stingley's the best corner in the NFL. Then you have his running mate in Kamari Lassiter. Then you got you added in C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kalen Bullock, him having this taking the step, and then also Petrie, who you pay, and you made Jalen Petrie the highest paid slot corner in the NFL. So that was you, Nick Casario. That's what y'all did. Y'all made him the highest paid slot corner in the NFL. So because y'all did that, I have expectations that this is supposed to be the best secondary in the league. And I said, we're going to find out in the first 2 weeks, because week 1, you got Matt Stafford, you got Puka Nacua, you got Devontae Adams. Again, they didn't put up a lot of points, but Puka Nacua was dicing up this defense, specifically Jalen Petrie, who you made the highest paid the highest paid nickel corner in the NFL. Puka Nacua was able to dice him up. 11 targets, 10 catches for 130 yards. Again, he didn't get into the end zone, and we didn't shut them down as far as they didn't score a whole bunch of points. Only got 14 points, but they made big plays. What I've been saying was the Achilles heel of this defense, them making big plays and allowing big plays. It happened last week. Now, it wasn't a 50-yard touchdown, but it got him in the scoring range. It got him into extended drives and things like that. So those things have to be sure of. This week, he ain't no walk in the park either. Baker Mayfield last year threw for over 4,500 yards and threw for over 4 touchdowns last year. They just added in Puka. They just added in Mega Buka, and you seen what Buka did his first ever NFL game. 2 touchdowns, got the game-winning touchdown. Baker Mayfield knows to throw that football down the field. He's going to take out and going to give the football to Mike Evans. Mike Evans, just a receiver that's complete consistency. Every single year he's been in the field, has gotten 1,000 yards every single year, 11 straight years, 1,000 yards you could set your clock by 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. They're going to push the football up and down the field. They're going to get points. We seen it last time that they was in NRG. Again, granted, Baker Mayfield really didn't go off, only 265 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the team as a total was able to put the football in the end zone, was able to get 37 points on the board. Now, I do feel like this defense is better, because that defense didn't have the Neil Hunter. That defense didn't have Kamari on the opposite side. Actually, that defense didn't even have Stingley, because that's when Stingley was out. Stingley didn't play his first game. Stingley played week 1 and week 2. He missed from week 3 all the way to the following week when we played the Bengals. That was his first game back. So Stingley didn't even play in that game. And also, that version of Stingley is not the version of Stingley that we seen last year when we seen him elevate his game. Now, we did see him elevate his game when he came back from that injury in 2023. We came back from that Bengals game, and from that Bengals game on, we seen Stingley rise, and we seen this is what we drafted with the number 3 overall pick. And then last year, obviously being an all-pro, first-team all-pro, looking like the best cornerback in the NFL. I know Patrick Surtain won Defensive Player of the Year, but Stingley was right there in lock and step, and I feel like that Stingley was more so on the rise. So they even faced Stingley in that game. So again, this is going to be a little bit of a different defense than what they see. Not a little bit, a lot of it. So it's going to be a lot different type of defense than they seen the last time that they was here. But it's still a test nonetheless because of what I said about Jalen Petrie and Puka Nacua. I know that's Puka Nacua, but Emeka Buka might be one of the ones. I wanted us to draft Emeka Buka, and I know a lot of Texas fans wanted us to draft Emeka Buka too. I think the fan favorite probably was Matthew Golden, him being from Texas, but Emeka Buka having the relationship with CJ, both coming from Ohio State, him being his favorite, him being one of his favorite targets in Ohio State, that we knew that they had that rapport. So I definitely people wanted Abuka here in Houston. I think that would have been a perfect compliment with Nico Collins, with CJ Stroud, especially when Tank Dell comes now. When Tank Dell gets healthy and comes back now. Saying all that, I think people are happy with Higgins and people are happy with Noel as well. But I do think that people probably did want Emeka Buka. So I do think that's fair to say. And again, we're going to find out early on because I do think that passing attack is going to be a test. I really do. I think that passing attack is going to be a test. And shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Spitz and Texas Nation. Fun fact, Colts are the first team since 1977 to score scored on all of their first 7 possessions in their first 7 possessions in last week's game. I'm not gonna say the end, but shout out to that boy Chris Super Chat Love. Definitely appreciate that. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think Indy scored in every possession. With 7 possessions, the only possession that as many possessions they had, because I thought I seen the stat that Indy scored in every single. Like I know it's something that Daniel Jones did something that Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning's never done, and that score on every possession of the game. That's why I heard. That's the stat that I seen. I could be wrong, but you said it was just you said it was 7 possessions. So is that like only the first 7 straight possessions, or is that all they had was 7 possessions? Even or it doesn't really matter. That's especially impressive. I understand they're playing against the Miami Dolphins. I think the Miami Dolphins are one of the softest teams, if not the softest team in the NFL. I think that Miami Dolphins is going to be the first coach fired this season. And I do think they're gonna be picking high in the draft. I don't care how bad a team is. I'm gonna call credit where credit's due. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. That is impressive. Something else is impressive. More people than jumped up in here, and the likes ain't going up. Make sure you hitting that like button. You liking the content? You be asking me when I'm going live. Hey, Spitz, when you gonna go live? Spitz, when you gonna do another video? Man, Spitz, it's been a couple months. Where you been, bro? Hey, Spitz, you back? Finally get some content. Well, since y'all finally getting this content that y'all been asking for, man, do your boy a favor, man. Hit them likes up, man. Get them likes up, man. Shout out to your boy, man. Get them likes up. Say, hey, if you're liking the content, and I know you is liking the content because you're here, you're checking it out. Checking it out. Checking it out. Hit the like button. Let them likes go up. Really, really appreciate that. But now back to what I was saying. Now, again, I do think that this defense I do think this defense can match up well against this offense, but this offense is going to have some problems for this defense. Like specifically, I think in that slot position with Abuka, the way that Puka Nacua did Jalen Petrie, I'm concerned because I know that Petrie's not good in coverage, and I don't understand why Matt Burke and D'Amico did not find a way to take Petrie out of that situation and get him out of that situation, because you seen what he was doing. I guess maybe because it wasn't resulting in the points. I guess because at the end of the day, it still wasn't resulting in the points. So I guess they felt like it was a bend don't break situation. We'll be able to shore it up because it's not resulting in points. But the thing is, it could have. The thing is, if you leave that door open, that's how you leave those cracks open. That's how you lose the teams you shouldn't lose to. That's how games get out of hand, especially because our offense wasn't doing anything. Our offense wasn't moving the football. Our offense wasn't getting into the red zone. Our offense wasn't scoring points. Our offense looked so lackluster because our offense looked so lackluster, since our offense looked like they couldn't move the football at all and actually couldn't move the football at all and couldn't get into the end zone and could put points on the board. Only thing they was able to get was long field goals. Defensively, You had to take the bull by the horn and dominate. You did it on the scoreboard, but you did allow them opportunities. And I'm wondering again against this offense, because of what Abuka showed you week one and what Baker Mayfield can run with his legs. Baker Mayfield can get out of the pocket. Baker Mayfield, he going to try some stuff. Baker Mayfield is going to throw the football down the field. He's going to take some risks. Now, him taking risks can also result in him giving up the football as well. And that also does lead into this defense, because this is an opportunistic defense. This defense gets a lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers. Last year, Stingley got 5 interceptions. Kalen Bullock got 5 interceptions. CJ Gardner-Johnson last year with the Eagles got 5 interceptions. Kamari Lassiter got 3 interceptions. Petrie, his rookie year, was able to get 5. So this defense, especially in the secondary, can turn the football over. They can force takeaways. They can force the football and put the football back in the offense's hand. Again, that's the only reason why the Texans actually had a chance and had an opportunity last week, was because the defense was able to force the football away. When Aziz was able to force a fumble, the Texans able to recover and able to give the Texans an opportunity. Now, the Texans couldn't cash in because they fumbled the football themselves. And now we're going to talk about where's going on with this offense, because Nick Caley, you have to make sure you got to put points on the board. This offense can't be lackluster. Them route combinations that you was doing and trying to get everybody involved, hey man, stop all that. Stop all that. Trying to give the ball to DP, give the ball to Dari. No, Chubb was your hot hand. Like think about this. On that last drive where Dari fumbled. And I get it. The play before, Dari had 17-yard reception, because that's what people say. Well, Dari had a 17-yard reception the play before. Dari had the walk-off touchdown last year against Jacksonville. Like I said in the live stream, that game against Jacksonville was completely different, because you didn't have a Joe Mixon, you didn't have DP, you didn't have Nick Chubb, because Nick Chubb wasn't on the team. You didn't have Woody Marks, because Woody Marks wasn't drafted yet. All you had was Dari and what's his name? Cam Akers, who you eventually traded 2 weeks later to the Minnesota Vikings. So he even lasts on the roster. So for you to use Dari in that sense, again, also that was Bobby Slowick. For you to use Dari in that sense, that made sense, because you had no option. You had all the options here. You had all the options here. You had all your receivers and you had all your backs outside Joe Mixon. But Nick Chubb was running the football well. Nick Chubb was running the football well. But Nick Chubb got you 60 yards. On that drive alone, Nick Chubb had a 10-yard carry and a 9-yard carry on that drive. Nick Chubb was moving the football. Not to mention, you were in the red zone. After the 2-minute warning, it's like a minute 40 something left on the clock. You had all 3 of your timeouts in the red zone. You shouldn't have been throwing the football anyway. If anything, you should have been running the football, because you're down by 5. You should have been running the football, trying to force the Rams to use all their timeouts, because you had all the control. It wasn't in their best interest to score right away. It wasn't, because if you score right away, you gave the Rams an opportunity to get in the field goal range and kick a game-winning field goal. Because even if you score a touchdown in that situation, you was only down by 5. You was only down by 5. You would have to score a touchdown and then score a touchdown and then go for a 2-point conversion to make it a 3-point game. And if you miss the 2-point conversion, that means they could win the game with a field goal. Or if you made the 2-point conversion, they could tie the game with a field goal. So you still was giving them an opportunity to potentially win or tie the game if you score too quickly. So it was in your best interest to drain the clock. It was in your best interest to run the football with your high hand and Nick Chubb. Or how about this? The running back that you moved up in the 4th round and gave a 3rd round pick to, I forgot who it was we traded with, but you gave up a 3rd round pick to move up in the 4th round to draft a 3rd down running back in Woody Marks. But you're giving the ball to Dari. You're giving the ball to Dari. And again, people are like, well, Dari's only fumbled twice in his career. Yeah, he has. He's only had like 110 carries too. So it's not a huge sample size. It's not like running backs get over 300 carries in a season and have 0 fumbles. He has 2 fumbles in a limited sample size. So yeah, he's only had 2 fumbles in his career. Yeah, but when you look at that's when context matters. That's when you gotta look at the context because context matters. And you look at the context, you look at the stats. He's only carried the ball like 110 times, 120 times. So he doesn't touch the ball a lot anyway. He doesn't touch the ball anyway. So he shouldn't be fumbling. Oh, he should have 0 fumbles on his resume because he doesn't touch the football. So when he does fumble, it's a high situation because he shouldn't be touching the football. So it's a limited carries, a limited times, he limited snaps, and he's fumbling the football in a limited sample size. That's not good. It's not good. He shouldn't have been on the field. He should not have been on the field. That was a Nick Caley problem. That's a Nick Caley issue. And again, that goes back to what I've been saying about I thought that it was important for the Texans to have an experienced play caller because an experienced play caller knows these type of things. They know in that situation, hey, we got all our timeouts. The Rams, I think they just used a timeout, if I'm not mistaken. It's a minute and 40-some seconds left. We're down by 5. We're in the red zone. Let's run the clock. We got a first. That's nothing too. And there was a first down because Dari just got a 17. You just utilized your good fortune with Dari because he just got you a 17-yard reception. So it was first down. It was first down. A minute and 40 something left on the clock. The Rams just called a timeout. So use your running back because you got all 3 of your timeouts and you're in the red zone. It's 4-down situation anyway. No matter what would happen, it was a 4-down situation. You don't need to score too quickly. Use Chubb, who got you a 9-yard and a 10-yard carry on this specific drive alone, to go out there, drain some of this clock, move the football, run the football, move the clock, and go out there and score a touchdown. That is what the defense, that's what an experienced play caller knows. Now, also, offensive line. Again, because the offensive line was getting some push in the running game, we had no negative runs. All of our runs went for either no gain or positive yards. None of our runs were negative runs. So we showed improvement in the run game. Now, CJ was one of the most pressure quarterbacks of last week. CJ also was sacked 3 times. CJ said himself that 2 of them sacks is on him. Nick Caserio and D'Amico both said the offensive line played well, and D'Amico said specifically, hey, like some of that's on CJ. CJ, bro, this bailing out of the back door of the pocket, this bailing out of the back door, trying to extend the drive that way, extend the play rather that way, bro. You ain't Michael Vick. You're not Lamar Jackson. Stop. I know a lot of kids are doing it, a lot of quarterbacks are doing it. They trying to do the whole Patrick Mahomes thing. Bro, you're a pocket passer. Even though you do have more mobility than people give you credit, you are a pure pocket passer. Bro, when that pocket start coming down, man, step up in that pocket, bro. Step up in the pocket so therefore you can see the entire field. Because when you bail out the back door, you bail to the left, I can only see the left part of the field. Because if I'm on the right side of the field, what is the rule you're not supposed to do as a quarterback? Go across your body. So if you look, so all you can look at is the left side of the field. Because if you see the right side of the field, you'll be throwing across your body. That's dangerous. And also vice versa, if you bailing out the left side, bailing out the right side, or you can see the right side of the field. If you throw to the left, you're throwing across your body. Bad idea. But step up in the pocket. Now I have a complete view of what's going on across the field, and I can still read and give my receivers time. And if you can't, you shooting up the B gap and getting a couple yards. You shoot up the B gap and get a couple yards. But step up in the pocket. And then if you do get sacked, that sack will only be a 2-yard sack, a 3-yard sack versus a 15-yard sack, a 13-yard sack. Like you're putting us in longer down and distances because you want to bail out the back door because you think you Michael Vick. Oh, you think you Lamar Jackson going for the Heisman. You know what I'm saying? You think, hey, you thinking you about to. And again, I know you did it a lot with Tank. Tank Dale on this field right now. Tank Dale, like you don't have the same rapport with Noel and Higgins or even Hutchinson. You know Hutchinson been here since you've been here. Like you don't have the same rapport that you got with you don't have the same rapport with them as you got with Tank Dale. So you can do the scramble drill with them. You can do the scramble drill with Nico. But you can't do the scramble drill with them with these young receivers that you got because these are the young receivers that you have right now. They wide eyed. Game one, week one, bro. Step up in the pocket. So one, if you do get sacked, it's minimum damage. It's not as much. Again, we don't want you to get sacked. A sack will not be good, but it's better for you to get. If you do get sacked, it's better for you to lose 3 yards than lose 13 yards. But more so, if you step up in the pocket, you can see the whole entire field, and if you need to, you can just shoot up the B gap. You can just run up the middle. You don't have to. And also, sometimes them pockets be better than you think they are because you was bailing out of clean pockets. You had clean pockets that you were bailing out of. You were bailing out of the back door in clean pockets. I understand that some of it might be because you didn't have the time last year, so maybe you're not trusting. So a little bit of shell shock, like a little punch drunk boxer. You don't realize that you have clean pockets. And again, that's a product of the bad offensive line last year and Bobby Slowick. I understand that, but bro, you got to step up in the pocket. It's a better situation for you and this offense and this team. More importantly, if you step up in the pocket and utilize and scan the entire field because you had people open that you could have thrown to, but you was bailing out the back door and you cutting off half the field when you do that. Whatever side you bail to, the right or left side, whatever side you end up bailing to, you cut off the opposite side of the field. But if you step up in the pocket, you can see the whole field and you be able to scan the entire field and throw whoever you want to throw to. I do believe that the Nick Caley will come out in this game and have a better game plan than he had last week. Now, this front could stop the run because they were able to stop the run and were able to basically shut down Bijan. I think Bijan only had like 2.2 yards per carry, so they were able to shut down. They were able to shut them down. However, they did give up passing yards. They allowed the passing game. So CJ should be able to pass the football in this game, and I'm expecting to see a little bit more of Noel. I'm expecting to see a little. I'm expecting to see a little bit more out of the passing game. I'm expecting to see, especially CJ, like I said, what I just said, if he steps up in the pocket and does something like that, I do think that we can see a little bit more out of this game. I think we can see a little bit more out of this passing attack, and I do think that they be able to do a little bit something. But like I do think that this is not the same game as it was back in 2023. I don't think it's going to be the same type of game. However, there's plays to be made. I do think there's plays to be made on both sides, offensive and defensive. I think there's plays to be made on both sides. I think there's plays to be made on both sides. But what's good, bro? What's good? What's good, bro? Um, I think it's plays to be made on both sides. But like I was saying earlier, though, like this defense still does give up this 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 defense still gives up big plays. It does. This this defense still gives up big plays, and they gave up big plays last week, and that is a concern, especially with Ibuka and like Jalen Petrie. Like I said, because seeing what Puka Nicole was able to do, target 11 times and getting 10 catches, 11 targets, 10 catches, 130 yards. I could see Ibuka, especially the way he played in his first ever NFL game. I could see him be able to do the exact same thing to Jalen Petrie. So D'Amico has to find a way to get him out. Begin like overall, the defense did their job. I'm not at any point in time. I'm not at any point in time saying that the defense was at fault for last week. Because again, like I said, the defense gave you an opportunity. They completely gave you the op. They gave you the opportunity when Aziz got that fumble. And also, there's no more you can ask for a defense to hold a team with Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and Matt Stafford and Sean McVay being the head coach to only 14 points. But the offense didn't hold up. The offense didn't hold up there in the ball. If the offense halfway showed up in that game on Sunday, the Texans win. Texans win. And like I said, all three of the field goals that Kyrie Fairbairn fit was all 50 plus. The shortest one was 49 yards. It was a 49 yarder, a 51 yarder, and a 54 yarder. Those were his three field goals. So they was never even threatening. The only time that they threatened was when we was on the last drive when Dari fumbled the football. And again, Nick Caley, give the football to your playmakers. Give the football to Nico Collins and give the football to Chubb. Ride the hot hand. Chubb was running the football very well. Was it Preem Nick Chubb? Was it Cleveland Brown Nick Chubb when Nick Chubb was all pro? No, he wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't supreme. It wasn't supreme Nick Chubb, but it was good enough to win. It was a serviceable running attack. So that whole running back by committee, man, this ain't New England, bro. We ain't got to do the running back by committee. We ain't gotta do that until proven otherwise. Give the football to Nick Chubb. Give the football to Nick Chubb. And if you want to give the football to somebody else, you want to spell him, give it to Woody Marks. Like you jumped up in the draft to give Woody Marks. Give it to Woody Marks. Like give it to Woody Marks. Don't give it to DP. DP does not need to be playing any snaps on offense on Monday. DP should only be active if he's active. DP should only be doing special teams. DP should only be doing returns. That's all I want to see DP doing is returns. Kickoff return. That's all I want to see him do. Let Jalen do punt returns. DP needs to do kickoff returns. That's all he needs to do. That's all he needs to do. What else? But y'all need to do, though. Y'all need that like button. I see more people than jumped up in here. A whole bunch more people than jumped up here, but the likes ain't going up. Make sure you hit that like button. Come on now. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit that like button now. Come on. Hit that like button now. Come on now. Hit that like button. Really appreciate that. But like I was saying though, like DP should not get any carries on offense. Definitely shouldn't be getting the ball thrown to him. Like DP doesn't need to get any run on offense. I have no problem. I honestly I really don't have a problem with Dari getting I really don't have a problem with Dari getting, a target here and there. I have no problem with that, honestly. I really don't. But in these type of situations, I do it's the situation. Like, okay, he got a 17-yard reception. Cool. Put Nick Chubb in. Put Nick Chubb in and run the football. Because that's what a veteran OC was supposed to be doing anyway. Was by putting in Nick Chubb and running out that clock and allowing the defense. Allowing the Rams to use timeouts, forcing the Rams to use timeout rather, and putting the Texans offense in a better position because you had all the time in the world to score. Yeah, all the time in the world to score. You were not in a rush to score a touchdown. I mean, you need to score a touchdown to win the game, but you weren't in a rush to score a touchdown. You could have waited. You didn't have to score a touchdown that quickly. You didn't have to score a touchdown that quickly. You could have waited. You could have waited. So, but I do expect the defense to play as well as they played, and I do expect the defense to do some things. But I am concerned about some aspects. I'm concerned about big plays. I'm also concerned about Buka. I think that the pass rush can able to get to I think they'll be able to get to Baker Mayfield. I can see both Will and Daniil able to get to get to Baker. So I definitely think that Will and Daniil have an opportunity to get to Baker Mayfield. Apply some pressure and be able to make some things happen. I definitely think that could possibly potentially happen. So now I say all that. Now let's get into what I think is going to happen in the game. Let's talk about what my actual prediction is. What I actually think is going to happen in the game. And Monday Night Football. Tampa Bay Buccaneers come into Houston, come into NRG. Houston Texans wearing the all white. They're gonna be all icy, and the all white stadium roof gonna be open. It's the first Monday night home opener. This is the first time in the Texans franchise history that they home open is a Monday night game. It's never been they've never had a home open a Monday night game. This is the first time in franchise history. They've had a home open. The very first game in Texan history was a Sunday night game at home. And we started off the season on Monday night before. We started off the season on Monday night before, twice actually, in 2013 against the Chargers, which was the late game of a doubleheader, and in 2019 versus New Orleans, which was the first game of a doubleheader. And we have a doubleheader we have two doubleheaders this year. We have the first game doubleheader this Monday night, and then in October 20th, I think we have the late game against Seattle, a doubleheader. So home opener, Monday Night Football, Houston Texans, Icy White versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that the Houston Texans come out with a victory. I think the Houston Texans come out with a victory. I'm going to say I'm going to say 27-24 Texans. I'm going to say 27-24 Texans. I think offensively we see some things. I think offensively, I still think that we see some things offensively. I think that um I think we see some things offensively. I think that we're able to move the football. I think we can move the football against this defense. I think that this defense shows some things against Atlanta that I think the Texans have a little bit more talent than Atlanta. I feel like the Texans are better. I think the Texans are a better team than the Falcons. So I think that the Texans can actually show some things that kind of explore some things that they were able to do. And I think the Texans can go out there and be able to move the football. Now, I also think the Texans go back and watch some of their tape on Sunday. And like I said, I think that CJ does a better job and a better opportunity and a better way of scanning the field. I think he steps up in the pocket a little bit more instead of bailing out. Do I think he's still gonna bail out? Yeah, he's still gonna bail out the back door. But I do think that he's gonna do a better job of stepping up in the pocket and looking at the field. I think that Nick Caley's gonna do a better job of giving the football to his playmakers. I think that Nico gets more targets and gets more catches in this game. I think that somebody like Noel is utilized a little bit more in the slot. I think we don't go. I don't think we spread the football around as far as the running game and giving it to Chubb and then giving it to DP and then giving it to Dari and then giving it to Marks. I think it's going to be a heavy dose of Chubb, and I also think that Woody Marks will get some run. Now, granted, this Russian defense was able to shut down Bijan Robinson. So I don't expect Nick Chubb to go out there and get 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like I don't expect that. I think that he could probably get. I think he can get 50 yards. I think he can get 50 plus yards. I think he might be able to get a touchdown. But I think he can run it enough that we can set up the passing or run enough to set up the passing attack, and we be able to use the football in the air. Now, defensively, I think, like I said, I think that our pass rush can get. I think our pass rush can get to Baker Mayfield. I think that our pass rush can get to Baker Mayfield. We can apply some pressure on Baker. And Baker, I feel like, is going to throw some gimmies. I think Baker's going to go out there. He's going to make some plays. Like that's why I think the score is going to be tighter than people think. I think that because of the playmakers that they have, the Mike Evans and the Mecca Bukas and the Bucky Irvins, I think that they're going to be able to move the football down the field as well, especially because of big plays. I think that especially if Ibuka is lined up on Petrie, if they find that type of mismatch, if they can get Ibuka, if they can get Ibuka, if they can get Ibuka if they can get a Buka on Petrie, they're going to be able to make some plays. And I think this defense, until proven otherwise, like I said in my pregame stream last week, I need 3 games of consistency. I need 3 solid games of consistency of them not giving up a big play. And they didn't do it week 1 because they gave up a couple big plays, especially in crucial moments. I do think so. Until otherwise, I think this defense can and will give up big plays. That's the Achilles heel of this defense. So if they give up a big play, I could definitely see Ibuka getting a big play and getting a couple of big plays on Jalen Petrie if they see Jalen Petrie. If they see Jalen Petrie lined up, Baker Mayfield is going to be bet. And they're going to target 5. They're not going to go after 24. I think that they're probably not going to go after 4. And then 2 and 8 are going to be out there just roaming the field. They see 5 out there, they're going to pick on 5. He's the weakest link in the secondary. So you have to find a way, D'Amico, you have to find a way to get Petrie out of there. You got to find a way to get Petrie off of those guys. Like when what you call was saucing up Petrie last week, you should have found a way to get either Kamari on him, put Kamari in the slide if you need to use. But you need to find somebody because Petrie is not a cover corner. Petrie is a box safety. He is not a cover corner. He is not a but y'all utilize him as a slot corner. Y'all pay him to be the highest paid slot corner, and it's going to end up against good teams. It's going to cost you more. It's going to cost you more. Yeah, you're right. Jalen Smith, put Jalen Smith in the slot if you need to, but Petrie is going to cost you more than he's going to help you in that slot position. He's going to cost you more than he's going to cost you more in that slot position than he is going to help you. And like I said, because of him actually doing that, he's going to put you more so behind the 8 ball, especially when it comes to this defense. I mean, let's come to an offense like this and your defense. Now, again, I think that we'll be able to stop some. Even though Bucky Irvin is a good running back, the Texans defense was able to stop the run a little bit last week, and also the Bucky Irvin wasn't able to run the football last week against the Falcons either. Like the Bucks wasn't able to run the football last week, and outside of Ibuka, they really wasn't moving the football. But I do think they'll be able to move the football some. So I think it's going to be plays made. Like I said, the last time these two teams played, again, granted, Baker and them ain't see this version of the defense because Daniil Hunter wasn't on the team. Kamari Lasser and Caleb Bullock both was in college. Stingley didn't even play in that game. And that season, 2023, CJ Gardner-Johnson was in Detroit. So they didn't see this version of Texas. They didn't see they didn't see this version of the Texans. So, and again, last year we didn't see this version of Tampa. Baker Mayfield without his weapons for a strong junction in last year's season, he was able to put up 40 some over 40 some touchdowns and over 4,500 yards, something like that, like 4,500 yards. I think he threw like 42 touchdowns and 4,500 yards, if I'm not mistaken, last year, something like that. So like Baker Mayfield is able to put points on the board, able to put touchdowns on the board, able to move the football up and down the field. And he's going to take chances. And because of him taking chances, I do think big plays will be made. But also because of him taking chances, I do think this defense has several opportunities to take the football away. I do. I think they have several opportunities to take the football away because, I mean, you look at all these guys in the backfield. I mean, in the secondary, is able to take away the football. They, all those guys able to take away the football. I do think they'll have an opportunity to get some turnovers and get their hands on the football and get the football back to the offense. And that's something the offense is going to need. Offense is going to need short possessions. Offense is going to need short field position. I mean, they're going to need quick possession. They're going to need quick turnovers. They're going to need that. And again, I need Nick Haley when you get those quick turnovers to, hey, take a shot. Even if you don't complete the shot, take the shot. Like go ahead. Like take a shot downfield. Like put deep pass. Nico Collins, whatever. Jalen on, whatever you gotta do. Try to put the football in the end zone quick possession defense. Just getting back on the field. They put the helmet on. They wouldn't expect them to be out there. There's a quick change of possession. You catch the defense on their heels by doing that. Now let's take a look quick gander. A little quick gander in the week 2. I'm gonna do some predictions, go over some of the games of week 2, exactly what I think was gonna happen in some of these games, some of these predictions for week 2. Now I do think that Green Bay, like Green Bay versus Green Bay versus Washington. I think Green Bay's gonna come away with the dub. I think Green Bay's gonna come with. I think Green Bay's gonna start off 2-0. I think Jordan Love might be on his way to try to win the NFC North. So I think by doing that, I think he's gonna start off 2-0. He already beat the Lions last week. I think he's gonna beat. I think he's gonna beat Washington this week. I think he's gonna be able to beat Washington this week. But nah, but seriously though, the first game is Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Y'all know I did the AFC South prediction earlier video. I had Jacksonville losing this game. Cincinnati beat Cleveland last week, but they didn't play the way that we expected them to play. They didn't play. I mean, Jamar Chase and Burrow didn't go off. I expect them to do that. I don't know. I think last week, Travis Hunter only played like 5 or 6 snaps on defense. He played all of his snaps on offense except for like 5 or 6 snaps. So don't know how much he's going to play on defense. But I don't think it matters. I think Cincinnati comes away with the win. I think that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase get on their right track of being one of the best quarterback receiver combinations in the NFL. And I think the Bengals go out and they become 2-0 and they defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The New York Giants go to Dallas. I think both of these teams are 0-2. I think Dallas comes away with the win. Dallas should have beat Philadelphia last week in the season opener. I mean, the way the Giants defense just doesn't look good. I think Dallas is going to be able to put some points on the board. I think with that, I think CD's going to come back, maybe try to bounce back after the performance he had last week. George Pickens and stuff like that. I think he's gonna get some run too. So I got the Cowboys win. I got the Cowboys defeating the Giants. The next game, Chicago at Detroit. Both of these teams are 0-2. Chicago let a game slip on Monday night. Detroit kind of got embarrassed to a certain degree to Green Bay. I think Detroit bounced back, and I think Detroit beat Chicago. If Detroit loses to Chicago, and not only are they 0-2, they're 0-2 in the division. The loser of this game is going to be 0-2 in the division. Like whoever loses this game is going to be 0-2 in the division. If they 0-2 and 0-2 in the division, I think that their season is pretty much a wrap. They'll probably, I mean, they can still make the playoffs, but in this division with Minnesota and Green Bay's already 2-0. I don't think, and then like the loser of this loser will have already lost to one of them. Detroit's already lost to Green Bay. Chicago's already lost to Minnesota. Yeah, if whoever loses this game, I don't think is really gonna have a real legitimate shot this year for especially in that division in that conference. So but I do think Detroit gets the victory and they defeat the Chicago Bears. Also, that's what you call it, going up against his old team. I just thought about that like really just now. I just thought about Ben Johnson going up against Dan Campbell. So yeah, that's actually going to be a very actually more even more interesting game that I thought about. But yeah, I think Detroit wins that game though. The Rams go to Tennessee. Like I said, I think Tennessee one of the worst football teams, and they're gonna be battling for a top pick. Even though they played defensively, they played impressive against Denver. And they made Bo Nix look like who we thought Bo Nix was. I think the Rams go out there and win. I think the Rams defeat Tennessee. Next, I got New England at Miami. Like I said, I think Miami is one of, if not the softest teams in the NFL. I think Miami Daniels is the first head coach fired this season. And I think that New England, I felt coming into the season that New England's going to be a sneaky pick, like a number 7, like a sneaky pick to get into the wild card because of Vrabel. They really didn't look all that good last week, but I do think they bounce back, and I think they defeat the Miami Dolphins. So I got New England beating the Miami Dolphins. Next is San Francisco versus New Orleans. Again, I think New Orleans is going to have the number 1 pick in the draft. I think New Orleans is going to be the one of the worst teams in football this year. I have San Fran beating New Orleans. Next, I have Buffalo at the Jets. I want to say the Jets so bad on so many levels. I want to pick the Jets because I'm rooting for the Jets. I want the Jets to win. I actually want to pick the Jets because I want to pick an upset too. I don't want to just go chalk and just go the favorites all the time. I want to actually pick a upset, and I really want the Jets to win because I don't want the Bills to win. But and then also seeing how impressive the Jets offensively looked, Justin Fields looked last week. I was so impressed on how Justin Fields looked a week ago, and seeing how bad that Bills defense looked last week. I get it. I understand it's the Ravens. It's Lamar Jackson. It's Derrick Henry. But seeing how their defense looked last week at home versus the Ravens, giving up 40 points the way they did, I want to pick the Jets. I really do. But I've watched a lot of football and I can't do it. I got the Bills beating the Jets. I have the Bills beating the Jets. Next game, I had Seattle at Pittsburgh. I know what you call it through four touchdowns. And Aaron Rodgers looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers. He looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers because he able to put the football in the end zone, even though he did not look good in the first half. I think Seattle comes away with the win. I have Seattle beating Pittsburgh. Next, I have Cleveland at Baltimore. You know, division matchups are tough, especially Cleveland versus Baltimore. Because Cleveland, year in and year out, for the most part, they get Baltimore at least once. Baltimore and Pittsburgh, they get them. No matter how bad Cleveland is, no matter how good Baltimore or Pittsburgh are. Outside of the year with Cleveland lost all them games, they was 0-16. Cleveland normally gets one or both the Ravens in the Steelers every year, but not in this game. I got the Ravens beating Cleveland. I got the Ravens beating Cleveland. The next game, Denver at Indy, like I picked before in the whole AFC South division video. I have Denver defeating Indy, even though Bo Nix looked like how we thought Bo Nix was gonna look. Like Bo Nix last week looked like how we thought Bo Nix was gonna look look coming to the NFL, turn the football over 3 times, just three bad turnovers. But that defense that they have is one of the best defenses. And I know Chris put in earlier about how the first team in with 30 some years, where Indianapolis was able to score on all 7 possessions, doing something that Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck has never done with all the high power offenses they have. Peyton Manning is a Hall of Famer. Andrew Luck was a future MVP before he cut his career short by retiring. Like all these different types of things, and you let Danny Dimes come in there and do something that neither one of these two quarterbacks, 2 number 1 overall pick quarterbacks, can do. It was against the Miami Dolphins. Again, like I said before, I think the Miami Dolphins is one of, if not the weakest team in the NFL. Also think that their coach is going to be the first coach fired this season, and they're not going to be a good team. They're going to be a finesse team. They're going to trade Tyreek Hill midway through the season, probably back to Kansas City, knowing the NFL. And that's just what they hopefully they end up trading away Waddle as well. If the Texans want to get interested, I would love to bring Waddle back to the city and bring Waddle back home. However, I will give credit where credit's due. Like I said earlier, that is still impressive. I don't care how bad the team is. That is impressive for you to score on all 7 possessions. Every possession you on the field, you ended off in points. That is impressive. That is impressive no matter how you slice it. That is impressive. Even though that's impressive, I still got Denver Broncos. I think Denver Broncos are one of the best defenses in. In fact, they're top 5 defense. They got one of the best cornerbacks in the league and pass certain. I know Bo Nix played bad last week. I think that he's able to. I think he's going to be able to bounce back, and I think that the Denver Broncos defeat Indianapolis. The next game is Carolina at Arizona. I think Arizona defeats Carolina. I think Carolina's not a good football team. I think Arizona defeats Carolina. The next game, Philly versus Kansas City, Super Bowl rematch. Already week 2, like week 2. They gave us the Super Bowl rematch. Week 2, they gave us the Super Bowl rematch. Week 2, they gave us the Super Bowl rematch for 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. Remember, the Eagles and the Chiefs played in 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years, and they split. Kansas City won the first one. The Eagles won the last one. The first one was a great game. This game was just dominated by the Eagles, and if you were a KC and the Patrick Mahomes hater, you enjoyed this one more, obviously, because they lost and they also lost in a dominating fashion. And also in my opinion, I think no, because I still think that the halftime show in LA with what you call it with like with Dr. Dre and all them, I still think that's the best halftime show I've ever seen. I think the Kendrick one was a good one. I think it was a good halftime show, but I think that the one with Dr. Dre and them, the one in LA was a better one. But that's a conversation for another day. But anyway, I say all that to say this: I'm surprised that this game not only is a week 2 game. This is not a Sunday night game. This is not a Monday night game. It's not a Friday night game. It's not Saturday. I'm surprised that this game is not later in the season, at least midway. I can see it not being. I can see it not being like in the November, December. I mean, I can see it not being in December. But this game should be an October game. It should be like week week 5. You know, week 4. No, not week 4. I feel like the first 4 weeks is just too early to unless unless it's like obviously like the season openers should be bangers because obviously like the season opener and the Saturday night game and those should be bangers. You know what I'm saying? The first Sunday, those should be bangers, and obviously they both had obligations because they were both on Saturday and Thursday night football, so they both already had previously obligations. So I get them not being that in week 1, but week 2, week 3, week 4. I feel like you shouldn't be having your heavy hitters like that unless they a divisional matchup and they're gonna end up playing each other again next like later on in the season. But like a Super Bowl rematch and you having it in week 2, I can see if it was week 1 like they did with Denver and Carolina, but week 2, I don't know. But again, but it's Philly at KC. I got KC beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I got KC beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Sunday night game. It wasn't even a primetime game. You didn't even make a Sunday night game. Because the Sunday night game is Atlanta going to Minnesota. Atlanta going to Minnesota. I think Minnesota wins this game on Sunday Night Football. I think Minnesota wins this game on Sunday Night Football. I do. I think Minnesota wins this game on Sunday Night Football. Like I said, Monday Night Football, the Monday Night doubleheader, the Houston Texans versus Tampa Bay. We talked about that already. The second game is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders host the Los Angeles Chargers. I think the Chargers go 2-0 and 2-0 in division. I have the Chargers defeating the Las Vegas Raiders. So to recap, I have Cincy beating Jacksonville. I have Dallas beating the Giants. I have Detroit beating Chicago. I have the Rams beating Tennessee. I have New England beating Miami. I have San Francisco beating New Orleans. I have Buffalo beating the Jets. I have Seattle beating Pittsburgh. I have Baltimore beating Cleveland. I have Denver beating Indy. I have Arizona beating Carolina. I have Kansas City beating Philly. I have Minnesota beating Atlanta, and I have the Chargers beating the Vegas Raiders. Um, probably outside of the KC Philly one is probably the one. Everything else is pretty much, I think, like chalk. I think pretty much all of those are favorites, honestly. I think all of those. I think all of the ones I picked are pretty much favorites. And speaking of favorites, the Texans are a 2.5 point favorite versus Tampa Bay. You get 3 points for being at home. You get 3 points for being at home. And the Texans are a 2.5 point favorite, which means on a neutral site it's really like a pick 'em. It's like maybe like Tampa might be I might be a half point favorite, but then again, pretty much on the neutral side, they stuff like that. Those are more than so basically they're saying both teams are pretty much the same. That's what they're telling you, and that also goes back to again the previous time these teams played. It took 47 seconds it took 47 seconds for a team to come out with a victory. A team scored with 7 seconds left to go on the clock. And CJ played a masterful game. Rookie record, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Really, his a party that he arrived. That was the game where people like, This kid might be a top 5 quarterback. This kid definitely is the rookie of the year. They was putting him into MVP conversations as a rookie. He was being put in, and it's not like when Deshaun was put in the MVP conversation, because Deshaun was put in the MVP conversation too as a rookie as well. But Deshaun was doing just like crazy. Like, think about this: like Deshaun was putting up 40 points a game, 30 points a game, and scoring like 4 touchdowns every game. And both Will Fuller and Hopkins were number 1 and number 2 in touchdowns for that stretch of games when Deshaun was here. And Will Fuller missed the first 3 games of the season. Whiffle missed the first 3 games of the season, came back and led. It was leading the league in touchdowns, and then Hawkins was second in the league in touchdowns, right behind that, like right behind that. After what you call a rookie year, and he was thrown to the MVP conversation, so it makes sense. CJ was thrown into the MVP conversation for a different reason. Because when you watched him play, he was looking like a franchise quarterback, being decisive, being able to stay in the pocket and able to get rid of the football, able to take that pass rush, able to get hit in his chest and still throw the football down the field accurately, put the ball on the money where it's supposed to be, throwing absolute dimes, actually putting the football where it needs to be, game-winning drives, clutch moments. He looked like a franchise quarterback. And it started that November game his rookie year against Tampa Bay when he scored 5 touchdowns and threw 470 yards and threw the game-winning touchdown on the clock, 7 seconds. He was getting the football back with 47 seconds, scored a touchdown, and still had 7 seconds left to spare on the clock. Because of that, that's what started the conversation. That's what started the MVP conversation. That's what started. I think they got him rookie of the month, and also I think he got AFC Player of the Month too in the month of November, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was rookie of the month and player of the month for the month of November, his rookie year in November, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I know he was rookie of the month. I feel like he was also AFC Offensive Player of the Month as well. Again, could be wrong, but I feel like that was the case. So, 2.5-point favorite. The Texans are looked at as a 2.5-point favorite. The Texans are at home, first ever home opener, being a Monday night game. Roof gonna be wide open. They're gonna be out there in the Liberty White, the icy Liberty Whites. Need some white helmets. Need some white helmets. That go. But we already know the end zone gonna be painted white. It's gonna be a clean game. Early game too. So early game. I think the game is at 6 Central Time. It's early because it's the first game of the doubleheader. I say all that to say this: the Texans have to come to play. They have to be ready to play. If they're not ready, they will lose this game. Like I said when the schedule came out, we're going to find out very early on about the Houston Texans. We're going to find out very early on this season about the Houston Texans. Week 1 and week 2, out the gate. You're not getting a little easy layup. You're not going to get a little easy layup. You're going to see a fearsome pass rush the first week in the Rams. And then at home, and some decent weapons with Devontae Adams, and Puka Nacua, and obviously a quarterback that can throw in Matt Stafford, who's a Super Bowl champion. And then the second game, we're going to let you go back home. Because that was on the road. We're going to let you go home. Baker Mayfield is the quarterback. Who was able to put up points against you? They would put up 37 points last time he was in the stadium. He can score points. Mike Evans. Chris. They just drafted Ibuka. Bucky Irvin. This offense can move the football up and down the field. Baker Mayfield had over 4,500 yards last year. This offense can put points on the board. Baker Mayfield had 41 touchdowns last year, 40 plus touchdowns last year. I think it might have been 42, but 41, 42 touchdowns last year. They can move the football. They can score the football. They can do all these things. I think the Texans have the best secondary in the league. they're going to get tested very early on. Last week, they only gave up 14 points. I need them to also give up less than 14 points. I need that defense to show up to give up 14 or less points again now. But you cannot allow big plays, because big plays at the wrong time. It don't matter what you're doing defensively. It don't matter how much you shut somebody down. A busted play at the wrong time will hurt you. Last year, week 5 against the Buffalo Bills, what you call it? Josh Allen. You're shutting down Josh Allen 9 of 30. His worst performance in the NFL. But you know what? Even though it was 9 to 30, as far as his completion percentage, he was 9 of 30. One of his non-completions was a 49-yard touchdown to Keon Coleman when Kamari Lassiter had been on a double move, and Keon Coleman got a 49-yard touchdown. Texas won the game 23-20, and it won because Kaimi kicked off a walk-off field goal to win the game, because the defense allowed a big play and allowed Buffalo to hang around the game. Even though Josh Allen was having a horrific performance, having the worst performance of his career, basically throwing up all over himself, but still, because of the adequacy and the lackluster play from the defensive side of the football, giving up big plays at ill-advised moments, allowed this game to be a game, and allowed us that this game is a close game when it shouldn't be a close game. This game should not be a close game. You should have been dominating and blowing out the Buffalo Bills, but no, we couldn't blow them out because the defense too busy giving up big plays. Again, like I just said, we gonna find out early on about this team. We will know Tuesday morning. We will know exactly about this team. We'll know, nah, the team ain't ready. I don't care. This team ain't ready. This team ain't ready to take that next step. They are not ready to take that next step yet. We up here talking about last year. We were really tripping because last year we were talking about the Super Bowl. This year we kind of temper our expectations slightly, but we at least talking about the AFC Championship game still. But last year we talking about we gonna win the whole thing. Now we talking about, man, let's just get to the AFC Championship. Let's just get to the championship game, bro. Let's just get to let's just get to the championship game. But we'll find out early on if that also is nonsense as well. We'll find it out early on this season, because on Monday morning we could basically wake up Monday morning and be like, nah, we not ready. We not ready. We not ready to compete. We not ready. Because I ain't gonna lie, watching the Sunday night game, watching the Bills and the Ravens in that Sunday night game, this whole time I'm watching the game, I'm looking at it like, we not ready for them. We not ready for the Bills or the Ravens. We not. That's why I'm watching the game. Watching how those offenses were moving the football down the field, and Lamar Jackson doing what he's doing, and Hop catching one catches like he back at NRG, and Derrick Henry getting these big long gallops and scampers and stuff like that. Josh Allen looking like the MVP. I'm like, I think defensively we can slow them down some, but offensively we have not shown the ability offensively to be able to step in the same ring with these people. I need that to change on Monday. I need Monday for me to feel good about this offense again, for me to feel hopeful about this offense again. This offense can go out there and duke it out in the shootout against supreme talent. Because that's what I'm talking about, why we can't compete. Because even though our defense could slow them down, I don't expect them to score 40 and 41 points against the defense. However, I do think that they'll be able to get 21, 24. I don't trust this offense to score 20 points. Offense couldn't even get to double digits last week. They scored 9 points. 9. 3 field goals. And like I said, all 3 of the field goals were long field goals. 49, 51, 54. Your closest field goal was 49 yards. Which means you never threatened to score a touchdown. You never threatened the end zone. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, dog. You never threatened the end zone. I don't trust this offense. And this has to change on Monday. I need to see a better performance out the offense on Monday. Like I need to see a better. I need to see a better performance out of the offense on Monday. I need to see a more enthusiastic offense on Monday. I need to see a more. I ain't saying you gotta be the best show on turf. I ain't saying you got. I'm not saying you gotta be last year Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're supposed to be the Kansas City Chiefs. What was that? 2018 when Mahomes threw 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're supposed to be the 2013 uh, uh, um Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning won the MVP. I'm not saying you're supposed to be there, but I need something out of this offense. I need something out of this offense. I need this offense with conviction, able to move the football up and down. I need to be confident in this offense that they can score points and more than 9 points in a half. Think about this. They didn't score in the second half at all. All those 9 points came in the first half. I need them to do a better job. I need them to do a better job offensively, or else they're not gonna do a damn thing this season. They're gonna do a damn thing. If they don't do better offensively, they're not gonna do a damn thing this season. This I don't care how good that defense is. This is not the 2000 Ravens. It's not the 2000 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not the 85 Bears. This is not that. This is not the 2015 Denver Broncos. This is not that. This is not that. This NFL has changed. Though those days are gone that you're able to dominate that way. You know, that Ravens defense in 2000 was so good that they win like 7 games without giving up an offensive touchdown. They won 7 games without giving up an offensive touchdown. And their offense ain't scored touchdowns. They defense scored more points than their offense did. You don't have that type of defense that's not only turning the football over, also getting in the end zone themselves. Like you have to have a defense that also not only turns over the football, able to go and score because they will turn over the football and give it to Trent Dilfer, and Trent Dilfer couldn't do nothing with it. So they had to take it in the end zone themselves. They had to score themselves. They had to do it themselves. But again, this is a different NFL. The NFL ain't like that no more. It's not the same NFL. The rules have changed. Everything's different. It's not the same NFL that it was in 85 or in 2000 or in 2002. It's not even the same NFL, like I said, in 2015 with the Broncos. It's not. This is not the same NFL anymore. So you have to score on offense. And if you don't, you're not going to do a damn thing. You're not going to do anything if you don't score on offense. You have to be able to score on offense. This team is not going to do anything if they don't score on offense. Man, appreciate everybody came through here, man. Make sure everybody hitting the like button. If you ain't hit the like button already, man, make sure you hitting the like button. I'm gonna give you some time. If you ain't hit the like button already, I'm gonna give you some time. Hit the like button. I'm gonna give you some time. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Appreciate everybody came through here. I see some more people hitting the like button. Hey, make sure you hit the like button. If you ain't hit the like button already, man, make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give you some time to hit that like button. Make sure you hit the like button. If you ain't hit it already, I'm gonna give you some time. Hit that like button. Already, man. Appreciate everybody that came through here. Everybody hit the like button. I really appreciate that. Shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that, man. Definitely appreciate you hitting that super chat love. Shout out to you for hitting that super. Shout out to you for hitting that super chat love. I know you an indie fan. I know you want to come in here gloating and stuff like that, and I know what you're doing. But hey, appreciate the love hitting that super chat. Now, again, immediately after the game on Monday, even though the game on Monday, immediately after the game, right here, I'm going live right here on this channel after the game. We're gonna do a post game. We're gonna break down what we seen. Are we upset? Are we mad? Are we happy? Do we feel better? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break it down. So make sure y'all pull up immediately after the game right here on this channel. We're gonna talk about what we just seen. Like, subscribe. If you haven't, comment below. If you haven't clicked that bell, get more video. Make sure you share this. I holla.